These are beautiful old buildings. Overall, this neighborhood is really quite quiet. And Belvedere Palace. Okay, welcome to Landstrasse, a neighborhood just outside of kind of the inner city of Vienna. We're going to be doing a neighborhood tour today, checking out what this place would be like to live in. I'm going to walk on this side of the street so that the sun is not a camera's eye. And yeah, we're going to be kind of going over the vibe, what it's like living here, you know, rather than the touristy side of things. Real estate options, some of the amenities, as well as, you know, parks, transportation, things that you want to know if you were going to make a move here. But yeah, so we're going to take a little stroll through here, head through the neighborhood, and take a look at some of this beautiful Viennese architecture. It's funny, in this city there is a pretty big mix. There's a little modern building, bit of an older, not old, but not the nicest style of build. And then you've got obviously your beautiful old historic looking kind of Viennese style of building. So yeah, so when we kind of look through this area, you know, you're just east of what's called Inner Stadt, which is kind of the inner city. It's where a lot of the tourists are, but it's also like incredibly expensive real estate because you're right in the heart of it. But you're nice and close here. And I guess we can kind of talk about transportation options while we're here. They do have one subway line that kind of wraps itself through the kind of north and then down to the east side of the neighborhood. And then there's also a couple trams that run kind of throughout the neighborhood, so you shouldn't have too much trouble. Here's a little nice green park. Not super heavy on the parks in this area, but there are some really big ones or nice ones almost on the outskirts. To the north, just across the river, we've got Prater Park, which is kind of this massive, it's a massive park. And then back kind of separating this area from the downtown Vienna, we've got Stad Park. And then to the south, which we're gonna walk by in a bit, there's a beautiful castle there. But yeah, and then obviously there's some buses that meander on through the neighborhood as well, as we just saw. All right, so we'll keep going here. One thing I did forget to mention about the transportation options, which sometimes I do, is they do have kind of the regional rail line that runs through the area as well, which is good. And the highway can be accessed it's almost the eastern border of the neighborhood. So if you want to get around, you've got some great cities within a few hours drive of here, European cities. So, you know, Budapest, Prague, a couple Austrian cities, and then Bratislava, Slovakian capital. Geez. So yeah, so there's that. But overall, this is definitely a bit of a quieter area. Now there are restaurants kind of scattered throughout. You shouldn't be more than 2 or 3 blocks, depending on where you live. But it's certainly a bit more of a quieter scene in here, right? Which is nice. And look, little carriage for the kids to get around by bike, which is another thing I love about this city. They got some great bike infrastructure to get around. But there's also, you know, a couple little museums or art galleries. I don't know if art gallery is the correct term, but dotted in the area. It's a decent land mass size, and there's also some cafes kind of all over the place. I wouldn't consider it to have great coffee shop culture like some of the other areas, but it does have good restaurants nearby. So if that's, or there's quite a few restaurants, again, kind of wherever you go. So if that's on your list of must-haves in a neighborhood, then that is something to know. And again, when we do these tours, we're doing it to show off the neighborhood, to give you a feel for kind of the speed of the neighborhood, and just to point out some basics so that you're not going in blind if you decide to make the move. And at the end of the day, if you do make the move, we connect you with a local real estate professional who can assist with furthering your purchasing process, right? Rather than going in blind, not really knowing the different areas or neighborhoods. Oftentimes a lot of the content online is more geared towards tourists and not as much about living in the area. There's also quite a few little looks like an embassy. Oh, the Russian embassy. Okay, better not film that. Haha. Anyways, there is quite a few embassies in here from some of my reading. And yeah, before we come to a place, we like to talk to a couple of people that are local experts, but at the end of the day, it's also kind of nice to just give the play-by-play, if you will, of the neighborhood. Look at these are beautiful little buildings. Okay, so we're kind of coming up on where the Belvedere Palace will be. There's some nice green space along there as well. But it's not, what I would consider a park. There are aspects of the area that are definitely park though. But we'll see what it kind of has to offer when we get there. Then yeah, as you can see, when you tuck into some of these side streets, it's much quieter. Overall, this neighborhood is really quite quiet. Which is a nice change of pace from the downtown, which is, again, right next door. It's pretty awesome. There's a little streetcar action. Okay, getting back out to a bit more of a main strip now. We are on Rennweg. Beautiful old church. Okay, turning into the botanical garden. So what I said about the park space, it's obviously preemptive, to say the least. This is the botanical garden for the University of Vienna, or Wien. And take a little stroll through here, a little cactus garden. And then we're going to head towards the Belvedere Palace. So this is a nice asset to have nearby. Again, this is kind of the southwestern corner. Let's double check that. Yeah, southwestern corner of the neighborhood. I think they have toucans in Austria. last time I going back to my grade 10 bio class. But yeah, it's a great place to have a coffee, read a book, enjoy some of nature's. Look at those places up there. Those are beautiful. And that reminds me, I should probably talk about real estate, shouldn't I? Shouldn't I? So again, disclaimer. When I talk about real estate in the area, I try to pick out something that's going to be a little lower on the price range, just to give you the lowest common denominator of what it would cost to live in an area. So by my research, there's a couple that I found, but again, when it comes time for you to buy, we've got the local expert who will be able to give you some more updated stats. So for a studio, we're looking at 210,000 USD, and for a one bedroom, we're looking at 230,000. And again, if you want to spend a bit more money, get a nice balcony that overlooks the park, you can pay more. But that's just to give you the idea for what we're starting with. Wow, those would be some great spots to live. Come right downstairs, with a cup of coffee, go to the park on a Sunday morning, and tuck into the bamboo forest. Cool. Wow, very cool. Okay, let's go check out the Belvedere Palace. Okay, briefly wanted to get some shots of this. This is pretty cool. It almost turns into a bit of an open forest as we move through it. A little less manicured. All right, here we go. Wow. Check that out. The Belvedere Palace. This is a pretty cool site. Look at these spots. I bet those aren't cheap. Yeah. Well, folks, I think this is about as good a place as any to end this. Once again, I hope you enjoyed this quick little neighborhood tour. And yeah, be sure to like and subscribe. Follow me around some more global neighborhoods. And if you are thinking about making a move, definitely reach out. We love helping people find their new home wherever it may be. Other than that, have a great day. See you in the next video.